Hi, Lori.
Good morning. Good
Yeah,
afternoon, good evening. Depends on where you are, right?
it's evening time for me, but it's all right. I do this because I have a 9 to 5, so it's the best time for me.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Lori, hi. My name is Nicolette. I am the creator for the podcast titled "You're Worthless." Read that again. Juxtaposition of your very soul. So, thank you for saying yes to be
Mhm.
interviewed today, and also for the apologies for all the technical difficulties, but we're here now.
It happens.
And
We're exactly where we're supposed to be.
okay, so normally my before I start my podcast, I would give a bit of introduction of my guests to all the listeners today. So hi everyone, we have Lori Anne today here with us. So she is a number one international best-selling author, certified professional transformational success coach, marketing positioner and strategist, personal development success coach, international speaker, and radio show host of Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne, and has been featured on Jack Canfield's TV show, Talking About Success with Jack Canfield, and many more platforms. She has shared the keynote stage with celebrity and best-selling authors William Paul Young and Dr. Debbie Silver. Always looking to inspire, empower, and educate. She authored 2 books currently as we speak. I hope if there's another one coming, I
It's
hope you can
coming.
let us know.
It's coming.
Perfect. Number one international bestseller, Women Who Dream, and bestseller Vitals, classic vitality cocktails. Ooh, I love that. Is it really
Yes,
cocktail?
it's made with their cocktails made though with essential oils. So if you can't get lemons or limes, you use essential oils to get the lemon and the lime, and it's
Is it,
actually has so many benefits. So there's a health benefit to your drinking.
uh,
So
we can. Is it edible?
yeah, yeah. Not all essential
Wow.
oils. Very big disclaimer. Not all essential oils are you can ingest, but like lemon and lime and but by certain companies, the company that I use, you can definitely ingest them because they don't add anything else. It's pure 100%
Pure.
essential oils. And be careful with the word pure because in the States,
Yeah.
I'm not sure with your country and other countries, but in the United States, to use the word pure, you only have to have 5%. This company it's 100% pure. So it's all lemons, it's all limes, it's nothing else added. A good way to tell a good essential oil is put it in your freezer. If it freezes, there's some kind of carrier oil to it because oils freeze, right?
Right. Right.
So there's a carrier oil in it, so you don't want to ingest it. And any resin type essential oil, like your vanillas and things like that, you don't want to ingest those essential oils. But the ones that I recommend in the book, you can absolutely ingest. They're made for that.
Oh my god, I'm in for a treat if I do go to New York. I'm gonna have to try that
Oh,
cocktail with
oh,
the so oil, and
definitely.
I'm gonna show it off to people. I say, hey, cocktail with essential oil, guys.
Well, I travel a lot. So when I'm traveling with my partner, he and I enjoy it's a drink called the Sazerac and it requires a lemon. So
Right.
we don't always have access to lemons. We can't carry them around because fruit, you can't go international but I can carry my essential oil bottle.
And
So
it's
I
just
have
like,
my
yeah,
little kit. Yeah, I put a couple of drops in my drink. I'm good
pick
to go.
me up.
And it's great
Perfect.
with my water too. Like I drink my water in the morning. I drink lemon water. I put my drops of lemon in it and
Wow.
I'm good to go. Yeah.
Well, okay. I need to know what this particular. You don't make them, right?
No,
It's
no.
from.
It's
Okay.
a company that I work with. It's called Young Living and
Young Living.
the
Perfect.
lemon is so so good. And I start every day with my lemon water. Matter of fact, I have it right here in my little Yeti. It's my
Perfect.
lemon water. Fill it up, put my lemon oils in, and yeah, it's so good, so good, and good for you. It's very healthy, and it helps your whole immune system really build it up, sure it up, and it because you're drinking the water, of course, it's flushing your system, which we have to do. So, and that
Mhm.
keeps us very balanced because we're what, 98% water?
Water. Yeah. Oh my God. We could have another episode just for that.
Totally for health stuff. Yeah, one of my certificates, this one here, Oh,
Uh-huh.
I don't think you could see it.
I
One of my
think, yeah.
certificates, I'm certified an herbal, a certified herbalist and a certified aromatherapist, amongst all my other certificates.
I'm sure there's
I love me wall. It's
what?
crazy.
Oh my god, I am so inspired right now. Okay, there's all right.
My job's done today.
Wow. Okay. So, all right. So I definitely, there's so many reasons for me to call you on again for another interview. So, yeah. Okay. So, yes, her mission, all listeners, is to use her love and compassion to inspire, illuminate, educate, and empower others to find and embrace their life's purpose, live their highest vision, and forge a strong foundation to soar to success.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
So, Lori, tell us, how was your childhood before we get down to the business?
It was absolutely fantastic. I had a great childhood. Great parents, very present parents, both musicians and teachers. And I love my childhood, but also I had challenges in my childhood, as we all do. And I had a sister who had some challenges. She would only be of an age of 5 years old for the rest of her life. So
Right.
she's on the spectrum, very low end of the spectrum. So I would take care of her. And that's where I learned a lot of things about myself. First of all, she is where you learn pure love. I mean, there's no such thing. If you want pure love, meet my sister. She just is, just epitomizes pure love. She just loves everyone. And it's just beautiful to feel and to be surrounded by that. My whole life was such a blessing, such a blessing. But I also was 10 years younger than my older two brothers. And so there was a big gap. So it was almost like I was a single child growing up, even though I was the youngest of four. And
Uh,
I used to explore in my backyard, which we lived up on a mountain and well, a hill, and I used to explore in the backyard and pretend I was like princesses, and we all do that, right?
yeah, yeah.
So and through that exploration, every once in a while, I would get these little hints, which now when I look back were showing me who I really was.
Mm.
And I thought that was interesting, and I'm like, huh. And I would always hear things like, you're meant to be impactful. You're meant to be impactful. I've heard that since I was very young. And I was like,
I just got chills.
and I just didn't know what that meant. And I went through my life trying all different things and learning all different tools and studying with many of the greats in my industry of coaching, from Jack Canfield to Tony Robbins to Grant Cardone to Mel Robbins to Joe Dispenza. The list goes on and on and on. And it's very yummy,
Oh,
um, because I wanted to learn, like, what do you know? What is it that you know? And I take all those tools, put them in my tool belt, and then help my clients just soar to success and become the greatest versions of themselves. My desire is to see them see the greatest versions of themselves and be unique. Why? Oh, unique. And that's something that in our culture, we're not taught to be unique. We're taught to fall in line,
conform.
fit in
Hmm.
this box, conform, don't be weird. I think weird is awesome. Um,
Oh, I live by
Yes,
that.
right? So
Yes.
that's where to your podcast, you are worthy. Absolutely. Each of us come here to bring a special something, and that's who you are. That's the special something that you infuse in our tapestry of the world. And without that special something, there's like a hole in the tapestry. So if we're not embracing who we are, exactly who we are, yeah, we're different. We want to be. Because if we were all the same, that would be incredibly boring,
Boring.
right? Boring, boring, boring. And there would be nothing to learn from each other. So we learn from each other. And every time I meet someone new, I learn from them. They learn from me. There are times when I'm coaching and I'll deliver what it comes to mind, which is a message, usually highly divinely guided, right? By a universe, God, source, however you refer to your higher power. And it'll come out of my mouth and I'll go, wait, that might be for me. I'm not sure. That might be a message for both of us. It might be a message for me. I'm not sure. But it's definitely not my cadence. It's not the words that I would normally use. So that's how I usually know. And I also get flushed with goosebumps heads to toe. And
Oh,
it's
you're
just,
right. Yeah, I
right? You get
love. Yeah.
flushed. It's
Yes,
so cool.
yes.
That's when
Yeah.
we're divinely guided. That's when we're being given those nudges and those hints to be everything we are. Because all our success codes are right here. We're born with them. All our success is right here. We don't have to go anyplace else. Just go right inside. Before we had the internet and before we had books and before we had education and before we had all these institutions that were formed, people would work in tribes, right? And they each would contribute something to the community. That's
That's
what
true.
we do today. We just overcomplicate things because we're
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh God, I found my tribe again, Lori. We are exactly where we're meant to be. Okay,
We're exactly
Nicolette.
where we're meant to be, exactly doing what we're supposed to be. And every decision we make is the right decision, even though the results may be not the best results we want. Sometimes they're bad results. And when you have discourse, which is not what you want, it's called discourse. When you have discourse, ask yourself the question, what am I supposed to learn here? As opposed to going to a pity poor me party, which, by the way, if you want to do it, go for it. I get bored with the pity poor me parties. I've had them. I'll sit in them for a little bit and then I'm like, okay, I'm bored. And then now I ask myself the next question, which is, what am I supposed to learn here? What was I supposed to learn from that interaction, which wasn't good, right? So it wasn't the way I wanted it to be. What was I supposed to learn? So maybe it was something to learn about myself. Maybe it's to have patience. Maybe it's just to
Yeah.
give love that that person is having a bad day. And if I just embrace and say, okay, I'll support the fact that you're having a bad day. I won't support you speaking badly to me, but I'll understand you're having a bad day. That kind of changes the direction of the outcome, right?
I think we just did a mini coaching. That. Thank you.
Can't help myself.
Lori. Thank you. I haven't even gotten to the rest of the questions, and I think that was a mini pick me up. I would listen. I'll take this episode, listen to it, and say, okay, I'm ready for my day. Oh
There
my
you go.
God.
I
Thank
love
you
that. That's
so
good.
much.
Inspire and ignite. Inspire and
Yes. Okay, so tell us, Lori, what is the SOAR to Success methodology?
yeah. So it's sort of success is something. It's a trademark for my company, LDC Strategies, and sort to success is what I want to see everybody to do because we all have the potential. We all have the opportunity to soar success to success. Not easy to say, by the way, very quickly.
Yeah,
Um, but
SOAR
it's
to
really
Success.
about taking action. 92% of us will never take action. We'll think about it, we'll dream about it, we won't do anything. And I did that the first part of my life, is I really wasn't taking action. What I discovered what I was doing is I was putting the tools together in order for me to take that next step, to take the action that I was supposed to take, right? Only 8% of us then take action. And what SOAR to Success methodology is to really put a strategy and a plan to actually take those steps to take action. I liken it to a pizza. If you've ever had a pizza, right, you don't eat it in one bite. You cut it into slices and then you take bites from those slices. It's the same thing about success. Success doesn't happen overnight. Oprah Winfrey, I'm sure we all know that name, right? Oprah Winfrey didn't get successful overnight. Matter of fact, she got fired from her first job and they said she didn't know how to interview. What?
Well, and Oprah?
Yeah.
No
Yeah, yeah.
way.
Michael Jordan was not brought onto his team and said that he wasn't a good basketball player. And he went, what? No.
Woo.
And that gave them they had two choices. And that goes to my book, Women Who Dream. My chapter in there is about two choices. Either I do something or I don't do something. I take a step or I don't take a step. I say yes or I say no. I move forward or I move backward. There's only two choices ever. You only have two choices, to do it or not. So they all were challenged with the choice of, oh, do I give up right here and say, okay, that person knows better than I do? That person knows better than the fire I have in my belly about doing this? Well, Oprah said no. Oprah decided not to be defined by somebody else, but define herself by taking those steps. So did Michael Jordan. Look at anybody who's successful. They jumped a lot of hurdles and they took little steps in order for them to get where they are. And that's what the sort of success methodology is what's the plan? What's your strategy? Do you really have a fire? And if you have a fire to do something, follow that. Follow that intuition. Don't worry about the how. Worry about the what. What do you want to do in your life? What do you want to accomplish? What are you here to do? And as soon as you know what your what is, the how comes from here. The what comes from the heart. What you want comes from here. Our success code, you notice I'm pointing to my heart. The
Yeah.
success is here. The how is in our brain. So look at a computer, right? Look at a computer. You shut the laptop. It doesn't mean it doesn't work anymore. It just
Mhm.
needs the what. What do you want me to do? Says the computer. Oh, you want me to go to this program? Okay, you open up the computer and you say, this is where I want to go. So
Mhm.
that the computer does the how. So our brain is like the laptop. Our brain is like our computer. So once we tell it what we want to do, okay, we want to walk now. Okay, now we walk, right? So that's the methodology. It's a strategy of where you want to go, deciding what you want to do, the strategy behind it, the plan behind it, and the plan are the steps to get you there. You follow those steps and you traverse with what comes like a wave. You just got to follow that wave. Sometimes we're going in this direction. And this is the error I made and made myself take the long route. I round pegged and square holed. I wanted this down here and I was holding it really tight. And
Right.
I wanted it to look a certain way. So I round peg square hold and went, nope, that's not going to get me there. So I'm going to go this way. But universe was saying, no, go this way. This is going to be easier. This is going to be gentler. And I'm like, no, I'm going to go this way. And whew, and I took the longest
Yeah.
possible route I could possibly take to get where I am. I'm going to end up where I am. No matter what, you're
No
going to end
matter
up,
what
no
road. Yeah.
matter what, you're going to end where you're supposed to end. It's the travel that you take. It's the learning that you take along the way. And that when you're learning, if you pay attention to the lessons, that puts you on the trail to get you where you're supposed to go. So you've heard people falling off the trail, right? Going back to my Native American background, right? You're falling off that trail. Well, that's because you're taking a different travel, and that's okay. Just learn the lessons along the way. You're going to end up back where you're supposed to be. Almost like the Waze or Google Maps. You know how they give you three different ways? One is really,
Yeah.
really, one is direct, and one is a
Yeah.
little longer. I took the really, really, really long way around to mine. Now I try to take the shortest way possible because I've learned how to harness my energy, pay attention to the nudges and the whispers that I'm being given. Those are, some people say, well, what is that, Lori? And what are nudges and whispers? They're there every day. There's a thought in your head, and it's like, I should do blah, blah. I should go back and get those boots on. And I don't put the boots on. And then later that day, I step in a puddle. If I had those boots, if I had listened to
Mm.
what
Mm.
said to me, my intuition, that intuition, I would have had those boots on. And when I stepped in the puddle, it would have been no big deal. Now I have a
Yeah.
soggy foot,
Yeah.
right? So, and it's bigger than that. Like I've been on a trajectory and I looked up and I passed this billboard every day and this billboard just said, just do it. Now, just do it is a logo from Nike, right?
Nike.
But I'm sitting there and I'm struggling with a question. And I looked up this day and I saw the billboard and it said, just do it. And I was like, oh, okay,
Ah,
there's my answer.
that's for me.
Do
Yeah.
it. And I did, and it was the best thing that I could do. Have you ever gotten into the car or into someplace, a restaurant or something, and heard a song, and it was really an
Oh
answer
my
to
God. Yes. Every time it's like you have a question and then suddenly a song just it comes on and it's like, no, the title would be, I don't know, something about, I don't know, the only thing I can think of right now is
walk
yes.
away, walk away, walk
Yeah.
away.
Or,
Oh, okay, there's
or the new, or the new Ariana song, Yes and. So it's like, yes
yes.
and. So it's like, do I need to do what if I do this and then people will judge me? For example, that's the question I had in my head, and then the song will come on, yes and. So, oh my God, that's the universe saying, and just
Yeah,
go
it's
do
not.
it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna give you this little nugget that when I learned only like 10 years ago, and it sounds nice, I don't care what other people think. Sounds very defensive, right? And I didn't like
Yeah.
that. It's like, oh, no.
Yes.
But somebody said this to me, it's none of my business what anybody else thinks. So true. It's not my business what anybody else thinks, because with it comes their fears, with it comes their experiences,
Insecurities and
their
everything.
insecurity, all that stuff bubbles up in them. It's none of their business. It's none of my business what
And
anybody
it's
else.
their projection.
It's their projection. So, like the people who around us love us around us, and they're like, "This is what I want to do," and they go, "I don't know, Lori
Mm,
Anne. What about this and
mm,
what about that? What about it? This is what
mm,
I'm doing. I'm
mm.
doing this." And they're like, "Okay, all right, if that's
Yeah.
what you want to do." Yeah, it is. It is what I want to do. And you know what? I might skin my knee and I might fall down and I'm going to get myself up, just like a baby learning how to walk. Baby learning how to walk pulls themselves up and falls down. Do they go, Johnny saw me fall, I'm
I don't
never
want to
walking
walk
again?
again. Yeah.
No, they don't. They get themselves up again and they're like, oh, all right. They might cry a little bit. And then they try different like ways to get up, which is really cool. They'll like pull themselves up on the couch, or they'll pull themselves up on a table and fall down and hit their chin on the table. And then they don't use the table anymore because they're like, okay, I see what happens when I use that. Don't like
Yeah.
that response. So let's go back over to the couch. And then suddenly they're walking and they go from like being wobbly,
Wobbly. Yeah.
yeah, to being really, really steady on their feet, right? And then they get a little better at it and a little better at it. That's the methodology. That's really staying focused and staying on course. And I have a Superball syndrome that I discovered. You remember these Superballs? You bounce them and they go all over the place.
Right, right. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so Superball syndrome, and I determine how high your bounce is. But what that is Superball, when you bounce it and you leave it to its own method, it looks like a hot mess. It goes all over the place. It
Yeah.
bounces off of any surface, goes all. I used to be that. Used to bounce all over the place because I had this idea and this idea and this idea and this idea, and I needed to learn how to harness that energy. Now I can take the Super Ball, and if we were in the same room, I could direct it to you, and you would be able to catch it. Right? It would go directly to you because I have it focused. So that's what I
Mm,
do. I harness people's Super Ball bounce. I harness their bounce to focus their energy so they stay on their track, so that they stay almost like the horse blinders. They
yeah.
stay and all they can see is their goal, where they want to be. And with it, they also have to navigate the waters as they come. And when they're kind of made to go in this direction, and I meant to do this today, but universe is telling me to do this today, I go do that. Now I go do that. Now I do that exploring. And that's why us working nonstop and not having a break and just constantly on top of ourselves is not successful. You need that time. You need that meditation time. Go take a walk out in and connect with the earth. Go look at and enjoy the flowers. Smell the roses. You've heard that
Smell the roses. Yeah.
that's what that's about too. Because as we our brain, which is that the how, we hear more of this, of what we want.
Mm,
What is it that exactly we want? So when things are going kind of awry, it's like, okay, what do I really want here? What do I really want? And when we determine what we really want, and how do we determine what we want?
yeah.
How do we know what we want? We got to understand what we don't want. And that's why the older we get, the more sage we seem to be. It's just we've had all the experiences.
Experience.
And like when I'm talking to my son, he's like, well, I want to do that. And I was like, well, do you realize that these could be the ramifications of doing that?
Cons. Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but this is what I want. Okay.
Oh,
And so
go
he
ahead.
gets
Yeah.
these ramifications. And I was just like, I can show you, I can tell you, but sometimes we have to experience it for ourselves. It's very important. So I'm standing there going, okay, I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall off the swing, like I did when he was little, right? I'm there to help you along this learning process. But go ahead, go
He's
ahead,
gonna
do it.
have to go through it himself.
Sometimes we do. And it's like, I have you ever said to yourself, I knew better. I knew better.
Yeah. But I still want to prove to myself and see.
I had
I'm
to
the type
see
of
it.
person. Yes, I'm the type of person. Okay, so okay, maybe going back, just maybe me sharing a bit about my my marriage before. So my dad saw the red flags, and I saw the red flags too. But still, I want to prove and love my parents to that. They said that I don't know, should we let her marry? Should we had a bit of fight, um but I still wanted to go ahead and do it, and they said eventually they said, okay, we'll give you our blessing. So lo and behold, parents know better. So after 2 years, that irreconcilable differences, so I got divorced, and I went back to them, and they said they knew, but my dad, it was just one sentence he said to me. So now you know. That's it.
Yeah.
And that is everything. Like he doesn't even have to, like, no scolding involved already at the point, because yes,
You
it's
already
just
got the lesson. There was no
yes,
scolding required. The lesson was
yeah.
there. The lesson was learned. My husband, same thing. There was flags all over the place. And I just chose not to pay attention to him. I saw them and I was like, well, let me make a whole bunch of excuses for him.
Yes, yes.
Oh, well,
Or he can change. We'll change him along the way. Yeah.
yeah, about that, no.
Yes.
Unless he wants to, you're not changing somebody else, and that's one of my
Learned it
lessons
the
is that
hard way.
yes, I learned the hard way. So there were really many good things that came out, but also that came out too. And at what point did I say no more? At a point where it was just not going to work for me anymore. It just wasn't making me happy, and it wasn't making them happy, and it wasn't good for my kids. So that's when you make those decisions, and they're hard decisions, and part of the hard decision is admitting to yourself you made a mistake.
Yes. Yes.
But it didn't diminish who I was. It just showed me, okay, I make mistakes. I make mistakes every day. I think I'm hysterical. It's like, okay, I did a Lori Anne again. Nice.
Good.
I give it a name. Give it a name. It's just like, okay. It's like the imposter syndrome. My biggest thing with imposter syndrome, I teach about imposter syndrome. I can help you out of imposter syndrome. But the number one thing I always say, and this is the juju to it, is give it a name. Because then you can put baby in the corner. You can say, whatever you name your imposter syndrome, go, not today, Lara, not today, over there,
Over there.
not dealing with you today. So when you start getting that, imposter syndrome, right? You start
Yes.
yourself and, oh, who am I to be teaching this stuff? And
Right.
who aren't you? You're so worthy to be teaching that because you have some experience in it. And we teach our former selves anyway. The people who gravitate to us are people the version of ourselves we used to be. So
I love that.
it's our avatar. When people go find your avatar, I'm like, just find a pivotal point in your life. Those are your avatars. That your former self is your avatar. The things I would allow in my life, I won't allow now. Those are my former avatars. I see them. I was like, oh yeah, I know you. I've been
You.
there.
Yeah. I was you before. Yeah.
I know you. I know you. And that could be male or female. I know you. I felt that. I felt the same things. I got the t-shirts, all of them. I've repeated it. Over and over and over again, really. And universe, God source, they redeliver. This is the cool thing is you don't learn the lesson. No worries. I'll teach you again.
It's in a different vessel right now. Just
We're going to teach you a
body.
different
Yeah.
way. That one didn't work. Okay. The only thing is, and this is what I learned, is it starts with like a nudge and a whisper, right? It's like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. Ignore that. And then it like punches you in the arm. Maybe you shouldn't do that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that. Then it kind of punches you in the face and it goes,
Yeah.
not literally, figuratively. It goes, no, not yet. Okay.
No,
And for me, I felt like I was run over by a truck and the truck backed over me. That's how hard it had to be for me to go,
yes,
that's it
everything.
now.
Like, oh yeah, I get you. I hear you right now. Let me redirect my course right now. Yeah.
Yes, and that's why I listen to the nudges and the whispers because they're a lot less destructive. But I
Yeah.
literally blew up everything. I blew up everything. It was just like poof, I blew up everything. I left my job, I left my marriage, I changed everything because it wasn't working. And
Same. Oh my god.
just blow it all up. And was it easy? No. Did I have a pity poor me party? Absolutely.
Yes. At least for me, it was a good 2 years. It was a good
Oh,
2 years. Yeah.
2 years?
Wait, 2 years. Two. Start crawling again. Maybe the third year, fourth year. Okay, I can finally walk again
Yes,
without judging myself.
yes,
Yeah, at
yeah.
least 4 years. At least
Yeah. Well, it took 7 was my number, 7 years. Took me 7 years. I had a pity poor me party, then a why did it happen to me party, then a how come
blaming.
everybody else is horrible, blaming,
Yes.
shit. It had nothing to do with anybody else. It was me. It was all me. And when
Yeah.
I discovered that, oh, yeah, about that, I have to take responsibility. Silly me.
Yeah.
I took complete responsibility. It changed it. And then I went through the pile of, I'll say, we'll call it hay, which was probably the height of my 2-story house and as wide as my 2-story house. And I had to go through each straw and decide what was really my responsibility and what was somebody else's responsibility, because I was owning everybody's at that point. I was owning
Mm.
my husbands, I was owning my bosses, I was owning my parents, I was owning my siblings. I was like, enough. And when I was done, I had a pile about this much that was absolutely 100% mine and very intense. The rest of it wasn't mine. It wasn't mine to own, wasn't mine to take responsibility for. I'm supposed to take 100% responsibility about me and how I impact other people, how I touch other people's lives, how I impact my life. 100% responsibility, but not 100% responsibility of what you do. I will support you till the cows come home. I will be there for you and be a sounding board and help you along your way, but it's not my responsibility to take the actions. And that's where my take action with jet propulsion came out of, that and my Superball syndrome. Discovering those two things, discovered that we can take action once we understand and are aware of what we have gone through and what taking out the best pieces. Because through the good, bad, and ugly version of Lori Anne is still good in there, is still perfect in there. I'm
That's
perfectly
for.
imperfect. And that's why I always say, and I was challenged on this recently, that I'm in the absolute right place at the right time always. We always are. And every choice I make, whether it's to be stuck or unstuck, is absolutely perfect. And here's my answer to the challenge of that. How could you be, how could it be perfect that you're stuck? I wasn't ready. I wasn't hearing what I needed to hear.
Well, that's a big one. That's a big one.
I wasn't ready to do it. I wasn't ready to accept it. I wasn't ready to take 100% responsibility. I wasn't ready to open my eyes and see the possibilities because I was round pegging square holy. It's supposed to look like this. Well, okay, here's the reality. It doesn't look like that. I will never be that couple, part of that couple that was 90 years old, walking along the beach, still holding hands in silence that I used to see when I was a young girl. I would never
We
be my
fantasize that.
I would never be my
Yeah.
parents who were married their whole entire life. That was not going to be me anymore. And I had to mourn that version. I had to mourn it. I had to acknowledge it. I had to let it go. And then I had to turn and look at what the possibilities are. And the possibilities are endless. It was amazing. Once I changed my lens from being in my ego to being in my observer. In my ego, we know we're in our ego when we have any emotions attached, right? Our observer is like when somebody says, well, I want to do this. And I go, okay, Nick, you want to do that. But did you think of this, this, and this? I don't have emotional attachment to what you're going through. I don't have an emotional attachment to your parents, but you know how you feel and how you want to make them proud, right? I don't have that emotional attachment. When we're in our observer, we don't have that emotional attachment. We're just looking at the facts, just what's in front of us, and say, okay, if I do this, what will the outcome be? If I do this, what will the outcome be? If I do this, what will the outcome be? Right? So that's that. I always say, you'll hear me say this, change your lens. You're in your ego right now. Try to pull out of that and just look at it without the ego, without the feelings. Just look
Yeah.
at it and see what is the possibility. What could come out if I change this? And sometimes we have to release people in our life because they no longer serve us. Your husband, your former husband, had a purpose in your life, and you
Yeah.
were learn something and become who you are right now. You would not be who you are right now,
I
but
wouldn't
for
be
the fact
speaking to you,
that
Laurie.
right?
had I not gone through that, yeah, I wouldn't be speaking. I wouldn't have the gut.
And look how amazing they're like, you're just this amazing, bubbly human who I just want to hang out with. Right? We were talking before we started the podcast how you want to come to New York and I want to come to your place. And we're going to do that because we want to hang out with each other and just make each other better. There's a reason why we are talking. I could be talking to a lot of other podcasters, but we're talking today. Right. And there's a reason behind that. And I am so grateful for all the good, bad, and ugly experiences I've had in my life because that makes me who I am today. It makes me more compassionate. It makes me more aware. It makes me do the work that I get to do, which is help other people become the best versions of them. Right? So we're exactly where we're supposed to be. Argument one. Judges? Do you have a 10 from the German judge?
Felt like this podcast it's a coaching for me now. Oh, I am I am speechless. Like I just wanna. I'm filled with gratitude right now. There's a reason why. I was on the phone with my mother just a few minutes before joining this call, and we talked a lot about life. And now it's like the universe coming back to me and say, you know what, you're on the right track. Like when I was talking to her, I felt like I was telling her like what are my plans, like what do I have, what do I want to do. And then but part of me inside myself, I still have that a bit of fear, and like what if I don't make it.
Okay,
But
let's explore that. What if you don't make it? What's the worst thing that can happen?
oh, nothing, I still want to go and do it, but
You're
maybe not.
exactly where you are. You're exactly where you are. So if you take that risk, what's the worst thing that can happen? If I take the risk of jumping off the roof of my house, I'm probably going to break my neck. Could break
Yeah,
a leg. It may not end well. Maybe that's not a risk I want to take, right? But
yeah.
if I want to take a risk and try something new, look at the risks. Like, ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? And I loved what you said. I didn't cut it off. I want to go back to it. You said, well, I keep trying. Yes, we go back in. Go back in. Michael Jordan went out to the basketball court and kept throwing the ball until he became the best. And he built that habit. Oprah Winfrey kept going back in and went, really? You don't think I'm a good interviewer? Yeah, I'm going to show you.
Watch
Oh, you
me.
did. Watch. Yeah, that's something I say. Oh, you said I can't? Oh, now that's a challenge. Challenge accepted. Watch.
Accept it. Let me take a photo while I'm at it.
Yes, challenge accepted. Let me take a picture of your face when I do it because I'm gonna,
Yes.
you know. But as we go, what we also need to do is we need to give it grace. So we need to give our dreams grace. So if we hold on to what we want to do and what it looks like, more importantly, what it looks like, if we hold on this tight, where's the room for expansion, right? There's no room. I can't get in there. But if we have that dream and we get that picture and then we release it
Let
and then
go.
we take the
Yeah.
ride, it's always even bigger and better. Universe delivers bigger and better than what we can even think of. So yeah, it starts with a podcast of You Are Worthy, but then maybe it's you standing on a stage in 5 years from now in front of 2,000 people, showing them that they are worthy. And then down the road, you become the female version of Tony Robbins standing in front of millions of people, right?
You just breathe my dreams and imagination into life. Like I grew up with Tony Robbins and Oprah Winfrey, and the first two names that you mentioned were these two. And universe, I hear you. I'm here right
Confirmation,
now. I hear you.
confirmation. And what your podcast followers are hearing right now is what they should be acknowledging is acknowledge it. Because when you acknowledge it and say, yes, I hear you, universe, God, source, whatever you refer to your higher power, they will say, oh, okay. And they get excited and want to deliver more. So yes, and that gratitude. And that's why you'll hear people saying they don't explain the why to the gratitude, but the why to the gratitude is the law of attraction, law of replacement. The universal law is when we give gratitude out, universe, God, source gets excited. Our spirits, our guides get excited and want to give you more because that's their excitement. They're seeing you grow into exactly that bloomed flower that you came down here to do. We came here to learn from each other and to serve one another, to learn from each other and to serve. So where people are put in front of us and opportunities and situations are put in front of us, in order for us to get where we need to go. And unfortunately, if we don't hear it the first time, what will happen? They have to serve it again. And it's a little harsher. It's a little stronger because we didn't hear it the first time. And that's okay too. Again, best thing in the world sounds terrible, but that running over by the truck and backed up again, that allowed me to explode my world and take those brave steps forward. But I wasn't brave at the beginning. I wasn't courageous at the beginning. I was scared and I didn't know what to do. And I just wanted to curl up into a ball and I wanted to crawl under a rock and I wanted to turn into a cat to hide, right? But then slowly but surely I put my paw out, right? And slowly
Yeah.
but surely I took these steps, and I was fortunate enough that I had one or two people around me, and that's all you need. You need two raving fans around you who support you no matter what you do and say, it's okay, you can come out. I got you.
Yeah. It's,
I
it's,
got you. And that, and that support could be a coach. That person who sits there and is go, I got you. I'm going to take the step. You jump, I jump. You jump out that window, I'll jump out the window with you. We both break our ankles. Okay, we'll both get casted together. You know, not that
let's sign on each other's
here. I
cast.
didn't want anybody jumping out of windows.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor. But it's a you take a jump, I take a jump. So you take a jump towards your dreams. What's next? Figure it out. Listen to what universe is putting in front of you. See who they put in front of you. There's a reason why you're meeting the people you are. See the who. Seek out the who. If you know your what you want to do, seek out the who's that have done it before you, because they will teach you how to take your next steps. Make sense?
Lori, you just again I think you are part of the building blocks of I've always so let me give you context. Malaysia is not so big on podcasting at this point, and I don't know why I've always been drawn to the US and how what is it like, because I grew up with all this um anything. I'm exposed to shows to Bloomberg, yeah, so
Yeah.
and yeah, Tony Robbins again and Oprah. So it's like I've always imagined myself to be in that kind of scene and standing in front of TEDx, being invited to for TEDx and
Don't say no.
having my own seminars, like getting all of these speakers like yourself. Like there's something I got to do something somehow down the years. I would be like, since I've been talking to people like yourself, I'm setting up a seminar. Would you want to be a speaker? I set
100%.
up tickets, yeah. And
100%.
I never,
I do it
I
all the time, 100%. It's the best way to reach many. So the more people you and I can reach, the more goodness we can put out there, the more possibilities we can put out there. We can kind of mute all the negativity that we get bombarded with through social media, and to which I say, be careful what you allow in, what we allow
yeah,
in our vision, what we allow in our sights, what we allow in our thoughts, change who we are. Because beliefs are thoughts we think over and over again, right? So if we start looking at the world as being very, very negative and very, very aggressive, it's going to change the fiber of our thoughts and
mhm,
where we're going to go. So be very careful of what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're listening to. Make sure
mm.
it's lifting you up, not pushing you down and putting you in a place of fear. Because what is fear? It's an opportunity for someone to control you,
Oh,
right? It's an opportunity to be controlled. So, and fear is it's just a thought. Fear is not real. Fear and stress, if you think about it, same elements. People say they're stressed. I want to know what they're fearing. What are they avoiding?
yeah. What are
What is
you?
it that's stressing
Yeah.
you
What are
out?
you scared of?
Yeah, usually it's like they're
It's
fearful that they're not going to be successful, fearful that they're going to get fired, fearful. That's
yes,
stress. That's
That's
fear. What's the difference? Tell me that, right? So we need to stay away from things that'll put us in that place of fear. We want to put ourselves in a place of empowerment. We want to put ourselves in front of people who say, yes, do it, do it. You're thinking about doing it, do it. Do it. Start thinking about what does that look like. Dreaming is the beginning of awareness.
I love to dream. I,
Dream,
after
yes.
before when I uh, go so in high school I used to have this imagination that 20 to 30 is where okay I'm gonna hustle, grind, push myself to the limit, and then I never really thought about what happens after 30. I thought life stops at 30. So 20
Doesn't
to 30,
actually
yeah, exactly, it doesn't.
get better.
So 20 to 30, I got my degree, worked in corporate, got married and divorced all by 30. So I'm like now I got divorced when I was 29. So I was like, okay, so what next?
Yes.
That's
What
like
next? Now what? Everything is open to you, girl. You could do anything. You want to be a rocket scientist? You could. If you wanted to. You may not want to. You're like, yeah, no. Do you want
yeah,
to? I don't know.
I signed myself up for a hypnotherapy course. So
Yeah.
and I started I started podcasting because I wanted to familiarize myself talking to strangers first before I get to paying clients, right? So and and I'm loving this. And I focused to podcasting and now I've been doing this for 6 months and I've spoken to so many people. And then I'm like, okay, maybe I will put this on a slower pace and then I can now have that confidence to doing my therapy and finishing it and finally graduating. So and I'm it's now like it's coming
Yes,
together.
yes, yes, yes. So you just did, you stayed on track. You're going to finish that and you're going to put that tool in your bag, right? And I
Yeah.
just want to remind you, keep your eyes on your own paper. Remember that from school? Keep your eyes on your own page. Keep your eyes on your own paper, meaning keep your eyes on what you're doing. Don't worry about everybody else. Oh, this podcaster has like a million podcasts. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You're exactly where you're supposed to be doing what you're supposed to be. So keep your eyes on what is here, what is saying to you, I like I got the hypnotherapy. Now what do I want to do? I have this tool. What else do I want to learn? What is my next step? How do I what do I want to teach in these podcasts? How do I want to get myself out there? Ask yourself those questions and just sit in it. Just sit in it. It'll come and it'll be like screaming loud. You'll know it's what you are what you're supposed to be doing because when it's easy, it gets handed to you. Remember, we got disconnected 3 times before this podcast happened. We were scheduled 3 other times before this podcast happened. And there's a reason for it because you were ready for it, right? We were ready to have this conversation. And so the same thing is just listen and watch for the signs. Look for what's coming easily. Here's another secret for you and your followers. Life doesn't have to be hard. We have to work, right? But it doesn't have to be hard. So what happens is you'll get a phone call from so and so and you'll say, geez, I really would like to do blah, blah. And if you really, really want to do it and your dream is intense, suddenly you'll get a phone call who goes, hey, by the way, do you want to do blah, blah with me? And you'll be like, oh my God, you'll never believe what just happened. I just got a phone call and they want to do blah, blah too. And it's divinely guided. It's confirmation. Yes, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Oh, I wonder if I should talk to so and so, and suddenly they're on the phone. Confirmation, yes. Or you think of someone, this comes often to me. You think of
Mm,
someone and you're like, let me call them. And either they needed you or they said something that helped you.
mm,
When I called, it was a message for me. When I called, they needed hear something from me,
mm,
reverse, whatever. It may be both. It may be just supporting them. And because of it, I made a phone call and I hadn't spoken to this woman. She came up in my mind. I said, come on my radio show. She came on my radio show. And then I just asked her a question. I was like, why didn't you publish a book? I know you wrote it because I coached you through writing it. How come you haven't published it? Oh, well, blah, 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 blah. Justifiable excuses, blah, blah, blah. My next book, by the way, is called Justifiable Excuses. We're so good at it, right? I'm brilliant at it. Oh my God, long story, different time. But, and I was like, okay, that's nice, but you haven't answered my question. Why haven't you published it? And she goes, oh. And from that conversation, I think a couple months later, she was published in International, the whole 9 yards. She called me up. She goes, thank you so much. Thank you for the push. And I was like, push? I pushed? And she said, well, you reminded me what I didn't do. And you reminded me that I wasn't pursuing my dreams. And so I did. And now she's an international published author because she took the steps. She took the action. I just gave her a little nudge. I was like, whoop. So, and that's what it is. So listen for those nudges. Listen to the whispers. Listen to those song lyrics when you get in and you have a question in your mind. Does it answer the question?
Yes.
You know, when I was going through turmoil,
Wow. Wow.
when I was going through turmoil with my husband and I wasn't sure what to do, I would get into my car and these songs would be like, you need to take action. And it's like, you need to go. It's time to change. All these songs, all these lyrics. And I'm like ignoring. And then one day I paid attention and I was like, oh, that's meant for
That
me.
was for
Okay, I
me.
get it. Oh, wait, that was for me. You know, other days, listen, I get in the car and I don't have any questions and the song is saying the same thing. That message isn't for me. I'm having it, you know, I don't have a question that day. But if you have a question that's beating and beating in your head and you're like, what do I do next? What do I do next? Look for the signs. They're there. I promise you, they're there. They're screaming at you. They're subtle for us, but they're literally screaming at you. Universe, God, source is like, all right, do I have to hit her with a brick? What?
OMG. Okay, I just had an epiphany right now. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do something after we get off this call.
Write it down right away. Write it down. Make a phone call. Make a phone call. Do whatever it is that you have in your head.
You just said it. I thought you're not gonna say it again. Because inside my heart, I'm like, okay, I gotta do it. But then, and then I was like, okay, do I call? Do I message? And then you said, make the phone.
Make the phone call.
Lori.
Make the phone call. Make the phone call. Do it. Yep.
Okay.
Maybe this
Okay.
podcast was specifically for you. Who knows? But
Yeah.
everybody will benefit, I'm sure. From your aha moments. You've had 3 so far.
Yeah. You're counting. And three's a charm, right? Third time's a charm. Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay.
Totally
That was
derailed your questions.
and it's 55 minutes. And I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, 55 minutes. That's okay. We're gonna you pretty much you've covered everything. I mean, again, the questions are just there to guide, but whatever that you said, they hit all the points. They hit all the questions. Like you touched about Superball, touched about why is it important to have a mission, which you did. Your background, you told me. The book, Women Who Dream, you said it. And the programs that you offer. Okay, fine. This one of my questions. Like, are they virtual or in person?
They're
And
both. They're
they're
both.
both. Okay.
I coach people internationally. So a lot, most of mine is virtual, but I do have in persons and I have retreats. I have a retreat in Costa Rica this coming November, which I'll send more information about. You should come. You should come. And it's just, it's a nice intensive version, you know, so, but they're in person and they're virtual. They're one-on-ones. You could do one-on-ones with me or you could do groups. Groups, there's a lot of advantages to the collaboration of the groups and I love the groups. But we need to get your foundation strong first. And that's what I look for is where's your foundation? Let's start with foundation. Let's start with taking 100% responsibility. Let's build that foundation nice and strong. So whatever house, mansion, or, you know, castle you decide to build on top of it, that foundation is going to support it. And that's the most important thing. And to anybody who's out there looking for someone to be that raving fan, you know, on the top of the wedding cake, because that's how I kind of look at people in my life. It's my raving fans are up on the top with me. right? And then the next level are the friends and people that I work with, right? So, but the raving fans are up here, and only a couple people can fit on the top of the cake. There's a reason for that, because you only need a couple. You only need, two max, who are there, that your go-to people who are going to be honest with you, kind to you, support you, and say, yes, okay, how can I support? How can I get you to that aha moment that you just had, right? How can I help you do that? And when you look for a coach, just make sure that coach has a coach. I have 5, but make sure that coach has a coach, because if you don't, it's not a coachable coach. And some people call themselves coaches, and we don't want you to have damage caused, because some coaches aren't as good as others. No disparaging, and you will be led to the proper person. You will absolutely be led to the proper person. So, and you'll know it. You'll know if it's right, if it resonates with you. So pay attention to what they're saying. And if you feel, wrapped in a blanket and supported, that's probably a good coach for you. It doesn't mean I'm a yes person. I'm tough. I hold you accountable. I'm an accountability person. I will hold people accountable, but I do it with love, and I do it so that you can turn to the best person, and you'll feel it. You'll know. I just call you out on it. And that's what my coach did. Is my coach calls me out on my stuff. Like, I was going to swear, but I won't. My coach called me out. Said, really, Lori Anne? And I was like, that's why I'm justifiable excuse queen. And it's like, yes, but as soon as I say yes, but, they're like, yeah, okay. I'm like, I know. All right. Never mind. So
I found my coach. One of my coaches. So as
100%.
you were saying, you said you have 5, right? So right
Yeah.
now, the one that resonated with me, there's 3, and you're the third one. Oh my gosh.
Because each offer me different things. I have my main coach, and that's Jack Canfield, and and I'm certified. I'm a trainer for him, but he's my main coach. And then I have
Wow.
other coaches. That I have a technical coach, I have a writing coach, so they all do different. They all give me support different tools that I want to have in my life, and they give me that support. So when I have technical issues and I'm trying to put together automated systems because I don't like repetitive tasks, I go to my technical coach, and he's like wicked, just so good. Like, oh, that's easy. I'm like, I want to do this. How do I do this? And oh, well, that's easy. Everything is, oh, that's
Oh,
easy.
that's easy.
And they're able to do that, which makes me able to automate, which allows me to serve more people. And that's always my goal, is how can I serve more people? Right? I can only serve so many one-on-one coaches because I only have so many hours in a day, in a week,
Yeah,
in a year, right?
that's right.
I can serve many at the same time. And everybody's going through basically the same thing. And when I speak to people, I reach them where they are. It's kind of like watching a movie. When you watch a movie, you watch it the second time, you're like, oh, I didn't notice that last time, or oh, I have a different takeaway this time. Or reread a book. Have you ever reread a book, especially
Yeah.
the books that are to help you? Like, I'm rereading
I
this.
just pulled, oh my God, Lori, I just pulled out my Tony Robbins, the one that I bought, I think back in 2015. And it was in my closet, and then I pulled it out, and it's now staring right back at me.
Yes. So when you reread that book, it's gonna hit you a different way, because you've learned so much between the last time and now. So you're not the same person. So you're gonna hit it at a different level, right? That's what I mean by the different level. I'm rereading this book. It's called My Father Knew the
Bob
Secret. Bob
Proctor. Oh
Proctor's
my
son
God.
wrote this. Yeah. So, and Bob Proctor, I studied under Bob as well. And so now I'm reading Brian Proctor's, I love this. My Father Knew the Secret. I love his take on it, because Brian was learning what I was learning basically at the same time from his father. So it's really cool to see his take. And I'm like, yes. And so I talk when I read my books. It's a little
Oh
crazy,
my
but
God. Lori,
so
it's like, it's coming, it's aligning.
it's all in alignment. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
That's why you look
Mm.
for someone who's going to make you feel supportive but keep you accountable, who's going to be there for you when you need them, who's going to help you answer those questions. I'm not here to answer your questions. You're here to answer your questions, but I'm here to make suggestions. You make decisions. I make suggestions, you make decisions. And I alter my suggestions, because that suggestion might not resonate with you. So you may need something different. So I'll constantly tweak those suggestions, and we do what I used to do with a staffer that I had years ago. I had this marketing group that I was in charge of, and I have 35 plus years of marketing in my background, right? And I have business, Fortune 100 business and negotiations in my background. Used to do mergers and acquisitions, a lot of experience, right?
Oh gosh, I used to do corporate, restructuring, insolvency, and I was
Yeah,
in EY. I was in EY, and that burned out, so I stepped away,
yeah.
and now rebuilding.
But
But
what we did with this one woman was I would tack in to give her tools. She wasn't being successful, and my job as a manager is to make the people who report to me successful. That's my job as a manager. So she wasn't doing the job, and I know she was smart. So we tacked in, didn't work, tacked out of those tools, tacked in with other tools, tacked out 4 times. Then we found the secret sauce that worked for her, and she became a superstar.
again, Lori. Whoa, I need to meditate. Like I'm getting so much downloads right now, and
I knew I was a successful coach when some of my clients would have such deep aha moments that they would cry. And at the beginning, I'm like, "Am I turning into Oprah or what's going on?" Because I kept making my clients cry. But what it was they were really diving into their success principles, and when they hit it, they knew it because it was there, and they were hiding it and they were protecting it because they were so afraid someone would take it away or it would fail that they wouldn't touch into it. So your emotions just overwhelm you, and that's when you know you're being genuinely yourself. Is your emotions just take over, and they're just like yes, and you feel this happiness that you just can't put into words, but you feel this happiness. That's when you know you're doing what you're supposed to do. So yeah, I was worried for a little bit, and I was talking to Jack, and I was like, let me ask you this question. My clients recently, they're all starting to cry. What's that about? And he's the one who said, you're turning into Oprah. And he goes, no, no,
oh my.
that's when you're tapping into the truth, into someone's truth, right? When you're tapping in deep, and you start getting emotional like you're getting. You're like, yes. So I will say to you emphatically, yes, yes, yes. You're exactly doing what you're supposed to do, and you have much bigger, like amazingly bigger things ahead of you. Just to give you a little bit of a vision down the road, because one of my superpowers is seeing things 7, 10 steps down from where you are today. And that's what I bring to the table too, is I'm like, you might want to do that, or you might want to do this and get there quicker. It just depends on your learning curve. But yeah, you have big things in your future, and I'm going to hold you accountable and responsible, my new friend, to make sure that you do that, because you have a lot of lives that you are responsible for making sure that they do what they need to accomplish when they come here. So there's a big, big vision in front of you.
Look, I feel like God is speaking to me through you right now. And
Amen. That was them. That was not me. That was them. Yeah.
wow, wow. Okay. Oh, I gotta
Basically, you won't
deep
be
dive.
sleeping tonight. Or if you are, you're going to be dreaming huge, beautiful, lovely dreams when you finally get to sleep, right? So to that, everybody is worthy. You are worthy. You wouldn't be here. Universe, God, source wouldn't put you here if there wasn't something major you're supposed to do. And sometimes the major things we're supposed to do are the little things in life, like hold a door open for somebody else, look someone in the eye, make them feel seen and heard, and give them a smile. That's all you're supposed to do. And if that's it, that's incredible. So it's the little things in lives. Don't think that we all have to, move oceans in order to be impactful. Everyday communication, every body that we touch is our responsibility, and we can change somebody's life. I know for a fact that I literally held the door open, made eye contact with someone, and said to them, something told me to say this to them, which is, you need to find the joy in your life. You need to smile more because your smile is beautiful. and I hope you have a really good day. And they came and found me because I go to the same place, to the same studio to do my radio show. And they found me a couple weeks later and said, "You saved my life because that day I was thinking about taking my life." So you never know. You just never know.
Again, chills.
Yeah.
Oh, Lori, there's something about you. I am meant to be here today.
We are.
Yeah.
We are meant here to without a doubt.
Okay. I'd
Have you
like to ask.
cut it out, Nick?
So we're both becoming Oprah.
No, and you will be in your country. So go for it.
When I started my podcast, that was my Oprah, but Nicolette's version, Nick Nieras.
Yeah. Yes.
My own network.
Your own network. I love it. The Nick Network.
Yes.
I see the double N logo.
Yes.
It's actually triple N because it's the Nick. Say your last name.
Nieras. And Nieras.
Nieras.
Yeah.
Network.
Yeah.
3 N's.
To the power of 3.
To the power of 3. What did we say earlier?
Lori Anne. Or I can change it to infinity. Oh my God. Again.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Nick's life being formed right in front of you. You now watch her career. We're going to go back to this podcast one day and say, look, it started here. It started way before that, but
Yes.
it got propelled. I should say propelled with jet propulsion right here, right today.
Yeah. Thank you, Lori.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. 1 hour and 10 minutes. So I normally have 4 questions to end, but this time around, I'm just going to ask you that last question. If you could create a quote right now for you to leave to the audience listening and the world as your legacy, what would it be?
Well, it's probably 2, but it would be...
Quote or quotes?
It would be this: play a higher role, serve a higher purpose, show up for you, and show up big.
I have that written, go big or go home. Again, keyword.
Big. Show up big. Because only you could show up for you. Nobody else can show up for you. So if you're going to show up, do it big.
It's like a church sermon today.
Amen.
Amen. I have this. It's like it's like a cup, and it's like overflowing. Right? My emotions, like I can't put it into words. Like it's indescribable. But what I will do is I will keep in touch with you, and I will keep you in my heart when I do visit New York. I mean, New York. It's always been my dream to visit New York.
When you come to New York, I expect you to stay with me and come visit, and yeah, let's spend some time together.
Can I?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So no reason for me not to process my visa and...
There's no reason. I've just taken all of their excuses off the table, justified or not. Yeah. So when you're ready, you come visit. Yeah, absolutely. My door's open.
Thank you, Lori, for your time. I don't want this to end, but I know there's somebody out there. I mean, we're thousands of miles apart, but I feel like some sort of a resonance with you. I don't know.
Yeah,
why,
no, I
but
feel it's tribe. We said it earlier, tribe.
Yeah,
It's a
the tribe. Yeah, the tribe. Yeah.
what that is when you meet
I've
somebody
got
right
one
away.
I've got one in Spain. She's in Spain now. It's like I feel when we do come together, it will be a bomb.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. With that tribe, just to explain to your listeners who may or may not understand that tribe type of a word, because it gets overused a little bit, is when you meet somebody and you feel like you've known them your whole life. And I felt like that as soon as we started talking. It was just like, wow, I feel like I have known you my whole life, and you will be in my life. I already know that. I already feel that. And I just love that. I love that connection. It just means that we're vibrating at the same level. And we are meant to support one another. So we see each other, we hear each other, and there's that connection. So that tribal feeling is that connected feeling you feel with another human, like almost instantaneous. It's crazy, but it's awesome. It's awesome. So
You're
And when
changing
it
the
comes to New
world.
York, I want to invite you to be on my radio show, Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne. I would love you to be on it, because I'd love to talk about all the stuff you're doing, and really keep the connection going. Definitely keep the connection going.
Lori Ann. It was just you, I think last week, and I was like, should I register myself to be a host and a guest together? But I said, it looks expensive because it's about 32. I don't know what's the dollar, but then if it's just a host, it's $6. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me continue and see when I'm ready. And you just invited me to be a guest. You're the first person to do that.
Oh, well, you're going to be a great guest. You're going to be an excellent guest. So I will send you the information so that you can get on to the radio show, so that your followers can also follow you on the radio show. It goes iHeartRadio as well, so that's international. So you'll be able to be heard internationally, and we'll have a lot of fun, and we'll continue this conversation. How about that? Okay. And so it is.
And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you, Laurie. You. I can see the plot unfolding. You just said the right words every time. People are gonna know me, and I'm gonna be interviewed. Yet.
First of many, my friend. First of many.
Thank you so much, Laurie. I have to let you go because I don't want to take so much more of your time.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. If anyone wants to reach me, all they have to do is go to ldcstrategies.com or coachlorianne.com. That's for my Take Action Jet propulsion. And if you want to speak to me, listen to my radio show, Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne, just reach out. I love to speak to everybody. I'm here to serve. So let me help you. So how can I help?
My motto just today, I was writing, heal the world one person at a time.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm so compelled to say that before we end our show.
Yes. That's a good motto. And you will heal the world one person at a time, because you're going to help people understand that everyone is worthy. Everyone has value. Every single person offers value. And don't allow anyone to take that away from you, because that's what we do. We allow it. So be aware of what you can contribute and hold on. It's important. You're going to do important work, and you're doing it now. So thank you. I'm so grateful.
Thank you, Laurie. You have a great day ahead.
You too.
Bye-bye.
You will. Definitely will. Loved Hong Kong. I enjoyed China and Hong Kong. So my next is Japan is my next one. And then Malaysia will be my next. Maybe I'll change it up because now I know somebody. So
exactly. Like I was also again talking to a friend. Now that I have so many guests from the US, I'm like, I am keeping friends in all of these states where they are. So it's like, okay, let's keep in touch from there.
yes.
Definitely.
Yes, you definitely have to do that, because then when you come visit, you have somebody who can show you. Because I don't like touristy. I prefer like all the really understanding the culture, learning about the culture, and eating with the people. And so I went to Italy. I was invited back to somebody's house. It was great.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Same thing happened in Australia. I don't know. I always get invited back to people's homes.
Oh, okay. So I hope, fingers crossed, it's gonna happen for me. So,
okay. I'm here. Tell me when you come. I'm gonna bring you in, girl. I love it. You have a place to